Let's take a look at cross-cultural negotiation. The art and skill of negotiation is something all professionals need to learn in order to succeed in their jobs and lives. All business takes place through communicating with people both inside and outside an organization. We must continually review information, assess situations, and make decisions. Another truth about business and other human interaction is that we're always negotiating with a variety of goals to get what we want, to motivate others, and to help others get what they want or to achieve mutual outcomes. All negotiation is intercultural. When any two people encounter each other, they always perceive, discover, and create reality from two different cultural perspectives. Intercultural negotiation is used in business because people who think, feel, and behave differently from one another have to reach agreements on the simple, practical, and complex activities involved. Cross-cultural differences, from language to context, social and systemic realities, can have dramatic effects in negotiation. While the differences are real and sometimes exaggerated in the moment, it's essential to remember that every person involved in cross-cultural negotiation is human and share concerns about their families and their lives. By focusing on your common humanity, you'll be able to more favorably connect with people in life and business. Let's begin by examining some background information and ideas that underline our need to learn cross-cultural negotiation. Conflict is a part of life, and ignoring conflict can be dangerous. Negotiation is used to handle differences in conflict, to create bridges where there are barriers, and to transact business in a global world. These negative experiences and perceptions do not mean we can stop negotiating. Numerous forces fuel us to keep at it and to learn to do it better. Global managers and acquisitions are increasing, and so are demands for skilled cross-cultural negotiators. Every merger, acquisition, or partnership requires relationship building, deal-making, communication, and giving and taking. World trade is growing everywhere and shrinking the world through newly created relationships among people and between companies across a network of stakeholders. Negotiation training has been so urgently needed that Harvard University put together its Harvard Negotiation Project, the goal of which is to improve the theory and practice of conflict resolution and negotiation. Positional bargaining, our more traditional form of negotiation, is a kind of haggling process in which each side takes a position, argues for it, says what it will do and won't do, and makes mutual concessions to reach a compromise. The Harvard Negotiation Project advocates for the use of principled negotiation rather than positional bargaining. Principled negotiation or bargaining, on the other hand, is based on looking at the merits of issues and seeks mutual gains whenever possible. When the interests of the parties conflict, Harvard Negotiation Project insists that the result be based on fair standards independent of the will of either side. Negotiation almost always assumes some kind of conflict that may set up you and your opponent as adversaries. For example, you and the other party's goals or time frame may conflict. Your resources and context may differ. Your wants may appear to be mutually exclusive, but your real, underlying needs are usually not the same. To some experts, negotiation is a basic means of getting what you want from someone. To others, it's a way to create mutually agreeable outcomes. Negotiation is communication designed to reach an agreement when you and the other side have some different interests. Negotiation is a field of knowledge and an activity in which you seek to gain the favor of people from whom you want things. The first question to ask is, what do you want? All people want a range of things at different times, and sometimes at the same time, including money, power, connection, justice, safety, meaning, friendship, recognition, or freedom. All people, no matter their culture, have wants and needs. We all have goals. We all want to achieve certain outcomes. In the negotiation process, we have two sets of needs, both the specific issues and demands that we state openly in negotiation, and our underlying real needs, which are rarely verbalized and which negotiators tend to conceal. Negotiation is never just about the price or the product or service or money. Rather, it includes both the substance of the negotiation and the negotiation process itself. Negotiating is a way of acting and behavior that can either develop or destroy understanding, acceptance, respect, and trust in the negotiation process. The way you go about trying to negotiate is heavily influenced by culture. Negotiation's not about ultimatums or compromise. Rather, because you believe that people's goals can be mutually agreeable rather than exclusive, negotiation gives you an opportunity to create win-win outcomes. When this is the foundation, trust can be established and there can be real exchange of needs, feelings, and facts. Derived from the root words nig, or not, and odom, or ease or leisure, you can see that, at its core, negotiation is not easy. In more modern terms, negotiation is typically described as a process of interaction between two or more parties with common and conflicting interests who want to reach agreement, preferably of mutual benefit. In win-win negotiation, both parties seek to realize the full benefit of their relationship by creating value through cooperation. Negotiation helps each party pursue its own interests and achieve those that are shared or complementary, sometimes by expanding commonalities, sometimes by reconciling differences. Value is also claimed and competed over in a give and take of reaching a mutual agreement. People all over the world negotiate to get what they want. Negotiation is a skill that can be learned. Three crucial elements are always involved in every negotiation: information, time, and power. Information, the heart of negotiation. The more you have, the more you can understand others and others' needs. Time, a negotiation strategy tool. Most negotiation concessions happen near a deadline. Be patient and don't let deadlines drive your emotions and actions. Power, the capacity to get things done. Power is based on your perception. If you think you have it, you do, and if you don't think you have it, you don't. The ability to negotiate brings power to a negotiation. Negotiation, in short, means that you analyze information, time, and power in order to influence your environment and have mastery over your life. Both power and time are influenced by perception. If you think you have power, you have it. If you don't think you have it, you don't. Negotiation is a learned skill that can help bring you more self-confidence, power, and relationship effectiveness in order to meet yours and other people's needs and make things happen. As we seek to get what we want, negotiating along the way, we should also want to help others. All negotiation requires the understanding and use of information, power, and time. All negotiation also follows a standard process, starting with planning and ending with an agreement. All negotiations, whether domestic or cross-cultural, involve situations that require mutual understanding and clear communication from the involved parties who are both seeking to establish expectations and then work for their achievement. A compromise or settlement is often reached by narrowing down the differences and emphasizing the commonalities of interest among the parties. The negotiators must practice empathy, appreciating the problems and limitations of the other side, as well as conflict management, time management, expectation management, and dispute resolution. Relationship building in cross-cultural negotiation requires more self-awareness, reflection, emotional and cultural intelligence, and consensus perception of cultural difference than domestic ones. Successful cross-cultural negotiators familiarize themselves with styles and assumptions used in other cultures in order to anticipate moves and avoid missteps or misperceptions. In cross-cultural negotiation, the basic concept of the negotiation process varies, including the issues that are stressed and the protocol and communication styles that are used. Even the very nature of persuasive arguments differ. To succeed in cross-cultural negotiation, you must appreciate cultural differences and consistently endeavor to manage them. There are 6 major aspects involved in cross-cultural negotiation. First, there are human beings conducting the negotiation who have learned behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs that will affect the process. Second, each person has been raised, lived, or worked, or traveled in one or more national cultures. National background factors of cultural traditions and values, as well as political, economic, and social systems affect their culture. Third, the parties have goals that motivate them to enter the negotiation. Fourth, they may enter into a learned and socialized process of negotiation that involves communications and actions that may or may not be shared by the needs or co-created during the negotiation. Fifth, the negotiators seek outcomes individually and collectively. Sixth, the negotiation is conducted under specific conditions. Cross-cultural negotiation is highly influenced by background factors and atmosphere variables. Parties come to the negotiation with different objectives, which may be in common, conflicting, or complementary. Culture affects how negotiators view the negotiation process. They each bring values, beliefs, and backgrounds of their culture to the negotiating table and normally do so unconsciously. One of the more interesting and exciting areas of cultural difference in negotiation is that of personal behaviors, attitudes, and practices of the negotiators. Because negotiation rules vary by culture, each party brings unfamiliar and potentially conflicting expectations. People from different cultural backgrounds may never acknowledge the barriers they face in negotiating. As a result, the agreement may never be made. Intercultural negotiations fail because each person has a different concept of the process and may misinterpret the other's behavior. Even if two parties have similar tastes, the way that negotiation takes place is heavily influenced by national culture. Lack of attention to the other party's culture and negotiation style will negatively affect both process as well as outcome. Negotiation is more fruitful when the parties trust each other, as it allows them to freely share information about their goals, interests, assumptions, and the barriers they see in negotiation. Sometimes there's too much emphasis on culture, which materializes as cultural stereotypes that manifest as excuses or rationales. In reality, people are complex. They don't always follow their cultural script. People in different cultures may have different definitions of success. The potential for misunderstanding in cross-cultural negotiation is high. The negotiation process may trigger an underlying matrix of cultural bias, beliefs, social expectations, and past experience. During the negotiation, you may be inadequately prepared, impatient, or ignorant of the other party's needs. You may become too emotional or too calculating. You may simply not listen well. You may also be ignoring the real conflict or problem involved with the issue at hand. Let's look for 4 key principles for conducting successful intercultural negotiation. More negotiations fail because of a break in the relationship, mistrust, or dislike between the persons involved than because of substantive differences. You can't separate people from the problem. Although doing so may seem logical, it can't really be done as long as the negotiation is between people. In traditional cultures in particular, trying to separate people from the issue of negotiation is detrimental. In a traditional negotiation process, each person usually takes a position on the situation or issue. He or she will argue for his or her own position. Each will then make concessions until a compromise is reached. In an innovative negotiation process, the parties will work together to reach an agreement that satisfies the key needs of both. Experience has shown that arguing over positions leads each party to look and lock to itself into its position. Many negotiations get stuck because of belief that there is only one pie and each party wants the whole thing. Yet many conflicts can be resolved by resorting to creative, untraditional solutions. Success at cross-cultural negotiation requires each party to see through the eyes of the other person sitting across the table and understand or attempt to understand their values, assumptions, and practice. Both parties must genuinely strive for mutual benefit and advantage throughout the process.